Britical Saiyans here. I'm Jonah.
And I'm Matt.
And we're going to do the ban list for December because we were hoping,
finally.
Yes, we were hoping it'd be on their website. It wasn't, so we've had to find a safe way to do it on Facebook.
So we'll jump in then. So start off with the God Ceiling has finally been banned after 10 sets or 9 sets, depending on how technical you want to be about it.
Coming up 10 sets.
Basically coming up 10 sets, yeah. So he's been around for a very long time. He has been a very annoying card for a very long time.
Yep.
Hold your salt. God, so much bitterness. So, yeah. The awkward thing about this is I could have seen this card going to 1 like they did with Yamcha, and it still would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because then the thing with Yamcha, it makes the player who's using it really, really think about when they want to be activating it. Because yes, this one flat out goes, "You're playing a secret rare." Okay, no. It stops floodgates. So 2 of the biggest things that it was mainly used for these days anyway, because most of the boss monsters had to deflect anyway. So it's kind of annoying that they banned it because of the fact that it was useful against those secret rares. It was useful against those floodgates. Floodgates more so than secret rares, to be honest, because floodgates are just the most annoying pain ever. Like, do my nutting. So I would have personally preferred to see this go to 1.
Yeah.
Like with Yamcha, but I can agree with the ban.
Like, I feel they could have put this and the others to 1. Because Trunks and Frieza are definitely the most dominant of all of them. Frieza just comes in, gets around the counter window, and auto kills something. Trunks just bounces anything that it can touch. So like anything big that doesn't have deflect is just going back to your hand. And like, I've had several games with you where I've gone to play something and I'm like, I'm going to show you this. Have you got Trunks? And you're like, yes. It's like, cool. I'll just leave it in my hand and you discard Trunks. Because it will save me some interaction. But yeah, it's like they could have put this to 1. They should put Frieza and Vegeta to 1. But Vegeta, in all fairness, is just a crushable block. It's not a problem. We have a Goku that does the exact same thing. Frieza and Trunks definitely needed a hit. Because in both green and blue as well, you run a unison just to play these out. Like, any unison will do, whether it's one that works for the deck, or just some generic one that's like, oh, +1 draw a card. It's like, yeah, that'll do.
Well, blue uses Boo, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Basically, that's the go-to one because it's so bulky and it's such a good card.
Yeah, blue uses Boo because it's like really powerful as a unison. Green, I know Dark Brody's popular. Piccolo from Dawn of the Z Legends, I think, is going to be one that's just kind of used generically because it can just draw you a card and then it can just be a dual attacker. So it's like, yeah, why not? Just use a generic thing that's got like a plus either way. So yeah, those colours definitely just run a unison to play their free cast count, to play their free counts play because they are busted. But now Trunks is gone, so Frieza gets to be dominant. Yay!
Yeah, it's definitely a big one.
Yeah.
And the fact that a lot of older bosses can come back now, but the ones that didn't get deflect.
Yeah.
For example, actually thinking about it now, the 8 cost in the Trunks Vegeta.
Yeah.
That doesn't have deflect. It has no keywords other than crit.
Yeah.
So that can now be like, oh, thank you. I don't have to panic.
That doesn't have to worry when playing against blue. Which is probably its biggest threat because like yellow just puts it in rest mode, no big whoop. Red minuses it, again, no big whoop. Frieza can't target it because it's too big. So
yeah, well, minusing it doesn't help, but it can still swing through because it's got 35k power, I think it was. So minus it by 15. Okay, 20.
Yeah.
Like I said, yellow putting in rest isn't a big bother, especially with the new Zenkai leader that can just untap it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I love that deck.
I can't wait for that Trunks Z leader for that deck. It's going to be so much fun. Alright, jump on to the next card.
Yeah. So
Digging deep. This is one you have a big gripe about, isn't it?
I'm annoyed about this because they could have just limited it. Like, it's useful because it only goes in that one deck. And it's like, you have essentially 2 turns without NG once you do the Z leader. And on your Z leader, yeah, you don't need to worry about being hit. You're on 100k. Your opponent has to put some major firepower behind their card to touch you. But when you go back to your normal leader, you're untapped. You literally have the cards in your hand because you don't draw for turn.
You mean you tapped out, not untapped?
Oh yeah, you tapped out. So yeah, you got no energy. Anything that's in rest mode stays in rest mode. So if you've swung with a battle card, it stays in rest mode. You lose your big Gogeta as well because it disappears. And then you're literally just on 15k leader with whatever's in your hand. This gave you a free play 5k for a turn. So like you'd mostly use it in your opponent's turn, just give yourself a 5k buff. Which was helpful when you're absolutely tapped out. But they just banned it because it's like, oh, it's too good. It's like a red sensu without the engine. It's like, yes, but it's so limited in its usage. If you pull it to 1, it'd be like the power for Super Saiyan. It's got a limit 1 skill, but that doesn't matter because you've only got it at 1 anyway. So you've got the time when you use it.
Yeah.
But no, just like, ban it. And I'm annoyed.
Haze. The outright ban on this, I completely agree with. As much as I play a deck, I love the deck to bits.
Yeah.
But I completely agree. The fact that you had so much more consistency in your deck combined with this and the Oceanus with the autos, just sped the deck up more than it already was fast anyway.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing about it is the activate battle. Yes, it's limit 1s, but that doesn't really matter too much. It's more of the fact that it's turn 2, I drop a 20k double strike. This is turn 2, so it's either you've got 1 energy and you've left it open in preparation for this, or you've tapped it to make a play. If you've tapped it to make a play, this 20 double crit is probably going through.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's going to be the same situation when it comes to turn 2 or turn 3, potentially, where your opponent, the player that's using the deck, is going to drop the 8 cost.
Yeah.
When you've got when they've got free energy, you know it's coming. And if you've got no way of stopping that attack and letting the activate battle actually happen, you lose. It's 20 double crit. Next turn, just for sake of it, next turn it is 30 triple crit, but it's not 30 triple crit because they're probably going to be doing some minusing effects to then target their own Omega Shenron to give it 5k because of its permanent. So it's 35 triple crit. So 2 turns in a row, big numbers, crit.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
Like, it is immensely powerful just because of its tip off. Like, I feel they could have asked it to say Z leader so that your opponent's at an even pace, or they could limit it. But yeah, like you said, the flat out ban is probably the nicest way to do it, just because you can. Like, I think you've done it against me with Omega Shenron. It's like turn 3, you've literally drawn a card, tap 3, and played them out. You're like, yeah, I'm not doing anything else, Jen. I'm like, yeah, I respect that. You were just doing that, and then once you've hit that, I'm like, internally I'm screaming because I know hey Shenron's in your hand.
Yeah.
Because like, if he's not in your hand, I can see him on your board, and I'm like, I haven't killed that because he hasn't let me, and he's on free energy. He's gonna tap, drop haze, and I'm gonna cry. So when you go up against it, you're like very efficient with your own life. You're like, oh, I could do this to take one, but I know my opponent's going to swing a triple crit at me at some point. How much of my life do I want to take before they just have what's there? Like, you've got to speed out on the gate, or you're being hit, and it's going to hurt, and you're going to cry.
Yeah. They're not small numbers either, because they're big things that come out so cheaply. It's ridiculous.
Because all their cost is just having to crack Dragon Balls, but you literally wait till you've awakened to do all this. So
so turn 2 onwards, basically, because, I don't know if the deck is still going to awaken turn 2 consistently anymore, because you search 2 turn 1, search 2 the next turn, but then you had Haze and Oceanus, which only got rid of 1. So running both of them at 4, which is what I'd be amazed if any Shadow Player deck player was not using both of these at 4. I could possibly understand some reasoning, but you've got one that gives barrier, so why would you not want to keep that? And then you got one that basically gives you a crit every potential turn.
Yeah.
It's...
If anything, you're reducing the Oceanus because you're like, I'm not worried about barrier, I just want to crit you.
Yeah. So now, you only have the one battle card in your deck that can help accelerate your awakening. With Haze gone, and only having the Oceanus now, awakening turn 2 without drawing into them, I don't think is possible anymore, because like I said, the leader gets 2 on your turn 1, and then you pay an energy, you either play out a Haze or you play out an Oceanus, which puts another 1. And then turn 2 you do 2 more, which then puts you up to 5, but unless you have one of Haze or Oceanus in your hand, back then that's how you did it, but you've got that reduced chance now. So before, turn 2 was easy, having 8 cards in your deck to help increase that. Now you've only got 4 extra cards. I will be amazed if a deck can awaken turn 2 consistently now.
It would take a lot of setup. I feel like you could possibly do it if you've searched 4 and then you just double down on the Oceanus. Or just do an Oceanus next turn, an Oceanus and a search.
Yeah, it's if you got them though. This is what I mean. Like you had 8 battle cards in your deck that you could open up with. As long as you have 2 of them, it's fine. But now, because you only have 4, you got less consistency on having the 4, having the 2 in your hand to play out turn 1, turn 2.
Yeah.
So, the deck's probably going to be awakening turn 3 at the earliest now on a consistent basis. I reckon. Onto the last card then. This one's an errata, not a ban.
Yes. The only errata they did.
The only errata they did, yes. Literally the only thing they've done to this is change the awaken, where the awaken is pretty much exactly the same, other than the fact that you have to be 4 less life.
Yeah.
That's it.
4 less life and having the 5 Saiyans.
Yeah. So so it's meeting 2 conditions instead of just 1 condition.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to impact the deck drastically. Yes, it may slow it down a tiny bit, but you just make changes to the deck to make up for that. The deck is still going to do fine. And also being at 4 less life, that's like the most common thing for most decks anyway, if not all. Well, I say all. The vast majority of decks is 4 less life to do most of what it wants to do.
Yeah.
And also depending on what super combos you run, depends whether they're live. But of course, this is what I mean. Like, you just make the changes to the deck to match what it does now, and the deck is still going to do exactly what it does. I honestly don't see any problems.
No, because they wanted to slow this deck down because of how powerful it was, but I don't think it's going to really hurt it, except that it doesn't awaken as early, so it doesn't have as much life control.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty powerful. It's still got a very good auto and active battle.
It still does what it wants to do.
Yeah.
So it's not really impacting.
No, I think they've tried to like tone it down, but it's not the best way to do it. They could do a bit more, or they could just outright ban the leader if it's that much of an issue.
Well, it's just going to be wait and see now to see what happens with the deck come the next set of tournaments.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so thank you very much for watching. Leave any thoughts down in the comments below on how you feel as well about each of these bans, the errata, whether you think they could have gone a slightly different direction. In fact, actually, another thing, say if you think anything they've missed off on this. Off the top of my head, I honestly personally can't think of anything that they've missed off that should be on here. You're going to be in the same boat, aren't you, Jody? You're going to have no idea what. Unless you do, because you've already said about the other current players, in your opinion, they all should have just been put to one, basically.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of it, of making things simple, and so they're all at one, simple as kind of thing. So I suppose that's they've missed that opportunity.
Yeah.
But anything else?
Or, well, I suppose with some overwhelm cards, because you've got some really good overwhelm things that come out, off the top of my head, the only one I can think of is Man on a Mission.
That got replaced by Broly.
Yeah. So, yeah, well...
Man on a Mission it's not really... That's only more for more aggressive decks, otherwise... Otherwise it's Dark Broly is now the main free overwhelm.
With some overwhelm things, they could put leader colour restrictions, so it doesn't have to be black leader only. It could be if your leader is black or blue, say, something like that. Try to restrict how much is being splashed around from everything. They could... I mean, at the moment there's no point hitting Z battle cards, but at some point they will. So I guess we just wait for that storm. Off the top of my head, yeah, I can't think of much. I just think they should have done more of the free play counter plays, or just bring new ones in, because Red has 2, and that's kind of annoying. But they could just bring another one in to make things better. Hit the originals to 1, put the other ones to 1 or 2. Just control it a bit more. Instead of going, we messed up, let's ban it, and then say future deck design before we ban that too.
Alright then. So I guess we'll see you next time then, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.